You know, sometimes you just got to do the thing, right? How you doing, everybody? Andrew Scott, and you are back at the VO Booth Camp. And it's been a hot minute since I've done a actual video, so I wanted to drop in and share a little something with you that might be helpful to some people, but not all people. And the reason for the video delay is, once again, I'm, ripping this place apart and putting it back together again. But new lens, so ooh, pretty. Anyways, we're going to talk today briefly about monitoring. Now, obviously, there are all different kinds of monitor setups that you can use in home voiceover. And there are different styles of monitoring for different situations. That should kind of go without saying. So, monitoring is actually a rather personal decision. And there are some people who have favorite styles of headphones and some people who have, favorite speakers, monitors, near-field monitors that they use. And a lot of people have very strong opinions about whether or not you should wear headphones or not wear headphones when you're recording, and should you mix and edit in headphones or should you listen on near-field monitors, and on and on and on. The short form is, it's a very personal decision. I come from the world of studio and live sound from back in the day. When dinosaurs were on stage, right? But one of the things that I picked up when I was a young lad was something that was in the 90s kind of new. And that is what are referred to as IEAs, or in-ear monitors. And I really fell in love with them when the company that I was working for was paying for them. Problem is, they can be redonkulously expensive. I think the first set of Shures that I had ran about $800. And to be honest, they haven't really come down all that much in price. And part of the reason why is because when we were getting them, you had to go to an audiologist or a professional ear person. I guess that's the way to explain it. And they had to make a mold, a casting of your inner ear, because that's one of the great benefits of in-ear monitoring, is we're not just talking about some ear plug that goes into your ear. This thing is actually shaped not only like your auditory canal, but also like this part of the inside of your ear. And the reason why they do that is because these things fit really snugly. And I fell in love with these things. And of course, as is the way these days, people have found hacks for them. Now, what I'm going to show you, definitely not my own invention, but I've been doing this now for about the past 10 years, and I really like them. And one of the reasons why I really like them is when I talked earlier about the special situations for this kind of monitoring versus that kind of monitoring. Quite often, I work for a long, long time in the booth, and I do like monitoring myself as I record. Problem with that is this: no matter how good your headphones are, no matter what cans you have, generally speaking, if you're listening at a level that you can hear and judge your own voice by, your headphones are probably making enough noise that they're getting picked up by your microphone. Our microphones are really sensitive, and that can cause a number of artifacts in your recording that you'll either grimace about or you'll have to try to find some way to deal with. So I started using earbuds, good old wired earbuds, never Bluetooth, too much latency, okay? But I would use earbuds. And one of the reasons why I liked them is because they go inside your ear and you can hear very clearly, and they don't leak sound out, or at a minimum, not nearly as much. So years ago, I discovered somebody online that came up with a hack to make their own out of just earbuds. And really, all you need are just a couple of things that you probably already have laying around your house. So, number one, you need a pair of earbuds. Number two, you need these guys. So, these are custom molded earplugs. Surprise, says so right on the package. These things are very often used for, competitive shooters or people who need to protect their hearing long term. And these things are essentially kind of like two-part epoxy resin, okay? So what you're going to do is we're going to make a mold of the inside of our ear. But instead of casting something, we're just going to use the mold as an earplug. So one of the other things that you need is a good old, very sharp knife. Now, you could use an X-Acto blade. You could use a straight razor blade, I guess. But I like these thin box cutters. And this is a Virgin brand new one. Oh, one more thing we need to do. Okay, so we've got our ears cleaned out good. And that is kind of important because all the material inside your ears will at times mess with the ability of these things to actually get good purchase. Pretty easy to follow instructions on the inside. We're going to pop everything out here. That's so in there. Okay, so, and they even give us a cute little bag to carry them in. Not going to need it. But anyways, so that's what we got here. And it says right on there, the product must be mixed accordingly to the enclosed instructions to work properly. Please read and follow the instructions. Oh, and one other thing that's helpful to have, either be in front of or have a mirror. Okay, so before we get underway, you're going to need one other thing in order to do this technique. And it's a little weird. You're going to need something to bite on, or at least something to hold in your mouth. So I've got this little cap thing here. It's about the right size, about the size of a quarter. You could use this. You could use, a screwdriver, I guess, whatever. But you're going to need something to hold your mouth open. This is something that a lot of other people online don't mention, and I'll talk to you about why in a minute. But what we got here is our two-part epoxy for our ears. And what they want you to do is mix this stuff together by kneading it. So I happen to get the tan color of this, but you can get it in various colors, I guess, whatever. But I also use these for recording video podcasts when I'm on camera. And this is really nice because obviously I don't have a whole lot of hair to cover up anything. So this looks a little bit more invisible. But what you're also going to want to do before we start, before you are ready to go, is you're going to want to take the little ear things off. These are no longer useful, okay? And now I've used these before. And one of the other things you're going to want to do with this here is you're going to want to make sure that the earbuds themselves are actually cleaned. So I'm going to get in here and I'm just going to chase around this and make sure that there's no earwax or other debris on either of these things. because that's going to matter. And one of the other reasons why I like this system is that, get that off of there. Ears are gross. One of the things that's nice about this is that once you get these made, if you buy the same earbuds, if the buds go bad on you, you can just plug in a new set of buds. Because if you see here, and I want my autofocus to work. No. Anyways, you'll see that those things have a bit of a shape to them. And that's awesome, because that means that they're going to go in there nice and tightly into the foam. The foam is going to expand in your ears. And yes, it's going to feel weird, but it's only going to feel weird for 10 minutes. So what we do here now is we take these two pieces of putty and we start kneading them together. And you want this to be good and kneaded together. And by the way, do wash your hands before you do this. This stuff's going in your ears, so. But they say knead it together so that you don't see it be quite so stripy. It should be kind of a homogeneous looking mass of goo. Okay, I'm saying that looks pretty good. So now we want to take half. Yep, there's half and there's half. I'm going to take a little bit more from this piece here. So now that you got your two chunks, now what you want to do is you want to roll one end of this pretty narrow, kind of like that. See that? Because we want that to get into our ear canal pretty deeply. I mean, you know, not tickling your brain, but you want to get it in there pretty good. And when I do that, I'm going to have to stop talking soon. Yay! But then I'm going to push those earbuds, the electric earbuds, into place into this material. And then I got to wait 10 minutes. But you want your mouth open when this stuff is curing, because when your jaw is in a resting position, the inside of your ears is different. And we're going to be wearing these things as we talk. So here we go. Now you're likely going to hear some popping and it might get a little bit warm in your ear, but that's this stuff working. Okay, and so now, and you want to spread this stuff out a little bit and push it in there good. And so I want these to come over my ears because I wear my wire on the back. So what I do here is this. I'm going to do that, and then you push this in good and firm. Like that. And like that. And now we check in our mirror, make sure everything looks all right. And now we put this in and we wait. Timer off. All right, so I actually gave mine another 5 minutes of extra time because I could still hear it popping in my ears, which means that it was still curing and expanding. But now what we do is very carefully take these things out. Oh, that feels weird. And you want to do that pretty gently. And so now, what we have are these. And they look kind of grody, but they're going to work. And now what's important is to let these cure with the earpieces in them for 3 hours. So let's do that. 3 hours, plus 12 more hours later. Okay, so it's later. Actually, a little bit more later. I let mine cure overnight. Doesn't really matter. Don't worry about it. But we've got our plugs, our in-ear monitors. And again, they kind of look a little bit like, I don't know, chewing gum, plumber's putty. But what we do now is we very carefully, doesn't have to be too careful, take our ear things out and get them ready for the next step. Now, unfortunately, I kind of screwed one of mine up, but the good news is if you do screw this up, the ear foam putty stuff is not expensive. And I've seen people use half of it and wind up being able to make 2. And I can see the wisdom of that. I like to maybe over apply just a little bit. But you are fighting me. This one got in good. But you pry them out. There. And you've got a nice little click. And now if you look in here, you can see that that shape is absolutely perfectly made in there. Unlike my other one, which kind of got a little bit mungered up, as you can see. So the next step here is to give our ear conductors a path in. And you can use a good sharp knife and cut off some of it. But, you know, when in doubt, power tools. And boom, there we have it. And you know what? I sound like the voice of God right now. A couple other little things to know about this. First off, and this sounds obvious, but it's not, you're probably going to want to get a very fine, like a Sharpie, you know, one of the super Sharpies, and label L and R, or L and R for you guys, because every time you look at these things, it's just going to look like a bunch of chewing gum on the end of your earbuds, and you're not going to know, and you're going to struggle, and you're going to feel dumb. Avoid that. The other thing is that if you're going to do it like I'm doing it, where it's going to be over your ears, there is, and I'll try to find the material. It's kind of like a quick set glue, because you can see my, you know, these are kind of wanting to wander off. You're going to want to make these rigid and kind of in this shape. But really, that's what I got for you. Now, you know, the battle of whether or not you should monitor while you record, I'm going to leave that alone. I prefer to do it because a lot of times I'm leveraging my distance from the microphone for proximity effect, and I really want to be able to hear. I want to know that the effect that I'm going for is the effect that I'm getting in the recording. And you can only do that when you're monitoring yourself. But again, the other thing, especially with these things treated this way, is you're going to get virtually no audible leak from your listening devices. So your microphone's not going to pick them up. But that's what I got. I wanted it to be a lot shorter, but sorry, you know, it's me. I don't do short. But if you got something out of this video, if you found it helpful, do me a favor, do the like, click, subscribe thing. Definitely join us on the Booth Camp Discord server where you can tell me all about your, I don't know, failure at this method or your success or what you think of it. But until next time, everybody, this is Andrew Scott, and you've been at the VO Boot Camp. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.